Hello everyone, I'm Kim Jarrett. This is Stitching with Southern Places and Faces. Now, if you've been with me a long time, you know this is a channel about cross stitch. It's been called Stitching with Kim J Inspired, I don't know. We have done a name change, and if you're not on Instagram, let me explain a little bit about that. So we have been doing this travel website for a long time. And I also enjoy doing FlossTubes. I enjoy doing all the things. And I'm hoping I'm looking in the right place because I'm looking in all kinds of places. If my eyes wander, forgive me. You know that this is not highly produced. So what we're doing is we are combining Southern Places and Faces, which is our travel channel, along with all of my crafting and cross-stitch endeavors. Now, this FlossTube will stay just about cross-stitching, some other crafts, some finishing, and we may talk a little bit about travel at the end. But we're going to add cross stitch to our website, southernplacesandfaces.com, and on our Facebook page, so that people can know a little bit more about crafting and cross stitch. Our Instagram is going to be combined, and it's going to be under Stitching with Southern Places and Faces as well. So that's why we decided to do that. Just to be honest with you, with Steve's health situation, mine, it was hard for me to keep up with two things, and I love both things equally, just to be honest with you. We don't do as much travel anymore just because of time and money, but we still do a lot of things around here. We still have a lot to show. We have a lot to show travel-wise from 2022 and 2021 and 2023. So that's kind of why we did the change. So yeah, don't worry. This is still going to be about FlossTube. This is number 44. And we just are so thankful that you joined. We've had some new subscribers who signed up thanks to Homespun Elegance Cross Stitch Group and Julie offering FlossTubers a chance to share their channels. So I hope more people will join. We really do enjoy doing these. Now, in case you don't know Steve is going to come over and say hello. He used to be on almost all of the FlossTubes previously when we were in our old place. Say hello.
Hello.
You have anything to say today?
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Well, they're not going to talk back to you.
Okay. Well, that's something to say.
Yeah, that's funny. He usually says that about me, that I always have something to say. Anyway, thanks, Steve, for dropping by.
Okay, thanks.
Say hello. He just always likes to say hello. And Steve's doing well. Thank you so much. I know a lot of you are praying and sending good thoughts about his Alzheimer's diagnosis. He's doing very well. He does speech therapy. She thinks he's doing great. And we're just hoping that the disease stays this way, hopefully forever, but for as long as possible. So thank you for all of your thoughts and prayers on that. But you're not here to hear all about us. There's really not much of a life update. You guys know we moved to outside of Chattanooga in a little town called Ottawa/Collegedale about 8 months ago. We still love it here. Got involved in a church, and everything is going well. And I get a lot of stitching in. So let's talk about my stitching for February. I think that is all that I wanted to say to you. I do have some notes. I'm not going to tell you when I made my notes or how I made my notes. So today I have full finishes, I have a finish, I have a new start, and I have several whips. So I'm going to start with the full finishes. So if you remember from last FlossTube, if you see behind me these two frame things, I don't think I can point to them, right? Two frame things right there. Anyway, that is Love and Hope, which was from a Just Cross Stitch magazine, February 2015. I showed them as a whip on my last FlossTube, and they're now finished. And I'm not very happy with the white mat, but let me tell you what happened. This is terrible. I wanted to save as much of that green guacamole Weeks Dye Works fabrics as possible. It's gorgeous fabric. So I kind of, when I had already stitched Hope, so when I started stitching Love, I started stitching it close to it. I did not leave but maybe an inch in between them. I was like, oh no, how am I going to fully finish them? So what I was is I cut very carefully, and I was able to mount the fabric on the mat, is what I'm trying to say, and then put it in those green frames from Hobby Lobby. So they're on the wall. They're probably going to stay up for most of spring. As you know, guys, I do a holiday wall here in this new place. That right there, that St. Patrick's Day thing, that I never was happy with that finish, but I've let it be a finish. That pattern is from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I do a lot of their stuff. So and then I did that probably, I guess, 4 years ago when I was doing floss tubes. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but yeah, there it is, my March calendar from Country Cottage Needleworks. I have done all of those samplers of the month, and I put them out every season. I do have some full finishes that are also seasonal, so let's go ahead and get into my full finishes. So I'm going to have to reach a little bit. So this is also from Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is May the Luck of the Irish Be With You. I'm going to try not to have a glare here. I started and finished this in the month of February. This is a Hobby Lobby frame. And it just seemed to fit in there perfect into a 5x7 frame. After FlossTube is over, it'll go right back there on that little dining hutch back there with that. So that is that one. I'm really excited about this next full finish, and I will mention, and I'm going to kind of do like Laura Stitching by the Shore, who I probably also should mention because I just said her name. Helen D was showing some frames, and I hope I say it right. I think it's Bucilla that they have where basically you can stick your hoop in the back of these frames, and it will basically just finish your project. So I'm not going to show you the back because it's kind of messy, but I have a 6-inch hoop. And this is how I framed this. This is from Cherry Hill Stitchery. This is called You Are So Loved. This is going to hang in our guest room because we want everybody to know who stays at our house that they are very loved. Basically, I put the hoop back there. I painted it blue. And I will have to say that I had to send Steve to actually send him to Walmart to get the blue. That was fun, trying to explain to him the blue paint. I don't know if I'm linking in the right place. So this is how I finish this. I will link below. You can get these frames on Amazon. I actually bought mine at Joann's before they announced that all the stores were going out of business. I have bought several, and I bought a couple at our Chattanooga area store that they still had when they were going out of business. I've agonized over how to fully finish this piece because I love this piece. I stitched it on some 28 count even weave that my best friend gave me. It's kind of a, I don't know, I think it's showing that it's a cream color. And I love that even weave, and I kind of used most of it stitching this. I wish I could find some more of that. It was a joy to stitch on. I stitched it about 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, and kudos to Steve. And also, I painted this myself. If Steve had painted it, it would have been a lot better. He's excellent at painting things. So that is that finish. And actually, let me say this. I try to have a goal of having 5 full finishes a month. So I count those 2 back there on the wall. That's 2. This is, and then the St. Patty's Day is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. This is just a little ornament. I am trying to do Christmas ornaments as I go. I got this frame actually at Joann's. They've always sold these, and I actually painted it. I am probably going to put some trim around it, maybe, but I kind of like it is. So the pattern came from an old book I have from the UK. Cross Stitcher magazine put out a whole bunch of like gifts. I think it's called gifts, cross stitch gifts, and they had a whole bunch of little small ideas for Christmas ornaments. So this is actually done, and I've done this before. I did it for Christmas cards. It's in a purple. It's in several different shades of purple. I decided to use 321 red. That's my favorite red, by the way, from DMC. And then y'all know I love my gingham. So I just made this little gingham bow, and it is done. So there, I've made a Christmas ornament, and I've had my 5 finishes that I wanted to do for the month. So I also had a finish for the month. I am so excited about this one because I've been working on this one for a long time. I actually bought one of those foam boards. They had them on sale at Michael's. Now, guys, you know I don't iron until I'm ready to iron. So, yay, finally, Blessed Assurance is done. This is from Heartstring Samplery. This is part of their Sunday Stitches series. I have most of them. And I have actually done Amazing Grace. I don't know if I showed that last time. It's up here on my wall. I am starting a wall of hymns, and this is going to go on it. Now, I don't know when I'm going to get it framed because framing is really expensive. And I do have a lot of Hobby Lobby gift certificates. I've used Hobby Lobby here in Chattanooga. It was okay, but my last job I wasn't really all that excited about, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I used Hobby Lobby in Rome, Georgia for something. I thought they did a great job, so who knows, I might even go down to Rome, Georgia and let them frame it. So that is my finish. Oh, let me tell you what I stitched it on. You want to know the details. I did use all the called for colors except this green right here, that green right there. It's just something I had in stash. I used all the call for colors. This is a 28 count Heartland linen. Heartland linen is gorgeous. I also love, and it's from Picture This Plus. I also love Legacy from Picture This Plus. So Legacy or Heartland linen, I mean, I don't know, it's just so vintagey. And I don't know if I could show this part. It's kind of my jam. I really like it. If that's a word we still say, that might be like a dated word from the 80s or 90s because y'all know I'm old. All right, so I had one new start for this for February. So I was on the fence about renewing my Just Cross Stitch magazine subscription because I wasn't very happy this year with the holiday edition. I used to love the ornament editions. They were pretty much collector's items, but I just wasn't really happy. And I don't know if I'm going to stitch more than one or two things out of that, or if anything. Usually I will stitch several things out of the ornament collection every year. But somebody was posting some things from the winter edition that I loved, and I got the spring edition in the mail. I think it came in the mail this week. I was able to access it online sooner. I love just about everything in there. I was telling Steve, I said, I really don't need to be buying anything because I could just stitch just from that magazine. So this is called Signs of Spring. It's designed by Tracy Richards of Wrought Iron Stitching. And this is what I'm working on, is this tulip here. Is that not gorgeous? Now the model is stitched on a 28 count Pixie Dust Lugana from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it's basically using some variegated thread. So I'm doing my version of it. So my version is stitched on Lavender Fields from Grace Notes Fabrics. I am a member of the Grace Notes Fabrics Club. So I have a lot of their stuff in my stash. And this is my version. So I am using a variegated floss from DMC. If you want the number of it, I will just send me an email. I'll put my email down below. But this is just a variegated floss. That is all one floss color. This is an 18 count, and I'm using one strand. So I think it's turning out really, really pretty. It's got, if you could, someone put it up very close, you can see the purples and the pinks. But yeah, one strand of this DMC variegated floss that I actually found at Joann's. They don't sell them at Hobby Lobby. You can order them from 123 Stitch or from any needlework shop. I do think that Michael's has some of the variegated flosses. I'll just be honest with you. I'm just in love with this. And this is, I don't know why. I really want to just stitch on it all the time. I have other plans. But I did start, I will show you. Do you guys ever flip? I think I asked y'all this last week. Do you just like flip your fabric over if you make a mistake? I had started it using another variegated floss, and I just didn't like the way it was turning out. Steve couldn't recognize the bunny. And I realized that the bunny butt, sorry I said butt, the bunny, Steve's looking at me, the bunny, you couldn't really tell that was a bunny tail. So I decided to switch it to this, and I'm much happier with these colors here. Much happier with how these are turning out. So I've got to still do the top of the bunny, but since I started over. But yeah, I am loving stitching on this. It'll probably come out a lot this month because I really want to have it ready by the first day of spring, which is not that far away. So, but that is my start. Now let's get into my whips for the month. They're in no particular order. They're just in the order that I just happened to list them. So whips for the month. So let's start with One Nation. One Nation by Bygone Stitches. A lot of people are stitching this. I've been stitching this since 2021, 4 years. And my best friend will tell you, I'll say, oh, I'm going to have this done by Flag Day of 2022 or 2023, or I'm going to have it done by my latest goal that I didn't meet was, oh, I'm going to have it done by the end of 2024. I like stitching on it, but what I have left is actually very boring. So, because I have stitched all the states on all of the stars. So you're probably not even going to be able to tell what work I put into it, because basically what I'm working on and trying to finish, and pardon me while I try to get this on the little board here, you're probably not going to be able to see it very well. So what I'm trying to finish are like all of these little stripes here. So like as you can see, I started them, and then so I just have to finish them. So I worked on those. That's what I've worked on this week, mostly on this side. I have a few more motifs that I'm going to do. Now, as I was telling you guys before, right down here beside Hawaii, okay, Yeah, I'm got flabby arms. Right, right down there beside Hawaii. Instead of doing these Quaker motifs, I'm going to put my initials and the dates that I stitched it. And I'm not going to do that until I totally get it finished because I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I think that I'm going to be able to have it finished hopefully by Flag Day this year. And this is something I'm doing. The Soulful Stitcher, that's Melanie. She's got a great channel. If you don't know Melanie, she's awesome. She started a 25/7, I think it's 25/7 cross stitch group where you stitch on a project for 25 minutes, 7 days a week if you can. Yeah, I've decided to kind of do that, to try to stitch on this for 25 minutes every day. So that might help me get it finished by Flag Day of this year because I really don't have that much to do, just those stripes. There are a few stitches that I'm not really happy with how they're laying, and I may go and pull a few stitches and restitch those, but I really don't have that much. So I guess I've been in a patriotic mood for this month. So this is when I started in 2020. I don't know why I haven't finished it. This is called Long May She Wave, and it is from Little House Needleworks. I get them mixed up, Little House and Country Cottage sometimes. This is really pretty. This came with a floss. One of my things is back then, I mean, my stitching has improved and changed, at least I hope so, over the past 4 or 5 years. And my fabric choices were not so great. This is some 16 count. It's called Vintage French Mocha, I think. And I started it on that. Now, the houses in the photo are white. I'm going to do houses that are red, white, and blue, and I'm just changing the colors. I actually worked on this tree the other night and got a good bit done on that. And that didn't look like it was a lot of stitching, but it was. And I did a little bit of the green. So I want to get this done. I'm going to do patriotic over here and some summer stuff for starting toward the middle of May until July, right after July 4th. So I really would like to get this finished by then. It's not really a huge pattern. And if I could go, I've got the flag done, and there's not that much left to do. I've got one house done, so I've got that one is red, that one's going to be white, and then I'm going to have a blue house. So I'm going to do the houses in red, white, and blue. All right, so what is next? I got a little bit of work into this one. I love this pattern. Again, I don't know why I don't pick it up more. It's like I think we all feel that way about all of our whips and all of our projects. This is from Annie the Proper Stitcher. There is room at the table for everyone. I started this last month, and I haven't made a lot of progress. When Steve has speech therapy, I will carry an easy project with me that is either one color or just something very simple. And I carry this with me to one of his speech days. Now, this is Grace Notes 18 count gingerbread latte. And what I got done was I got that there. I'm stitching this though with 2 strands, whereas I'm stitching the other 18 count project with just 1 strand. But I like the coverage on this. I don't know if you could tell the variegation on this fabric. It's gorgeous. And yes, my needle is hanging in there. Because when he comes out, sometimes if I'm not ready, I just got to put the thing back in my bag, get ready to go. So, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of doctor's office stitching. All right, next whip. I stitch Christmas year round. I try to stitch Santas and Christmas stuff. I kind of follow the Merry Monday thing, and I don't do it every single Monday. And then the Homespun Needlework group, they're stitching Christmas every 25th, and I did stitch on this on the 25th of February. This is my Prairie Schooler Santa. I've still got the price tag on that. Whoops, let me show you. Yeah, still got the price tag. Steve picked this out. This is the 2020 version. And I might get my goal is to get this one finished this month. So this is where I am. I stitched on this for a couple of nights, so it's getting there. I was like, why rabbits with Santa? And then Steve picked this one for the one he wanted. We alternate who picks the Santas. Steve picked this one for the one he wanted me to do. I'm like, why the bunnies? That bunny is so cute. And I just love it now. And there's going to be another bunny right there. So now I'm like, I love the fact that I'm stitching Bunny Santa, Steve. So it's really cute. Okay. This is something I don't have the pattern for. I'll insert the picture here. This is my full coverage project. It's a picture of my son Lee. He was probably 16 or 17. And I had DMC. Back then they were making charts from pictures. And so they did this. This is full coverage, but it's not going to be very big. But talk about confetti. It is like one here, one there. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I want to do this and finish it. Here's the funny thing. I was talking to my best friend who was also a cross stitcher. She taught me about 29 years ago. I asked her, sometimes do you feel like when you're doing full coverage that you stitch and stitch and stitch and you can't tell your progress? And yeah, she gets that. There's no rhyme or reason. I just pick colors and go. This only got a couple of nights. I usually try to stitch this on a Thursday. That's the day that my son was born. But that is the progress. Again, hopefully I inserted a picture there so you could see that. My last whip is, I actually only got one night. Steve had a sleep study to get a CPAP, and I carried this one with me. And I think this is really cute. This is summer, and I don't have a lot of summer patterns, so I really want to get this done for summer too. This is summer. This is designed by Jenny Barton of JB Cross Stitch. This is just really gorgeous. And my needle is in this one too, y'all. Forgive me. I'm not. It was in one of those things where the sleep specialist came in, and again, I had to put it up real fast. Now, I told you guys wrong the last time. This is my progress on it. I told you guys wrong about what, this is not a fabric flare fabric. This is actually something I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And it's just a blue fabric. And I realized that when I saw it at Hobby Lobby the other day. And I'm like, oh, that's where I got, because I couldn't remember where I got the fabric. It's actually 14 count. I don't work a lot on 14 count anymore. This is going to get a lot of work over the next couple of months because I do want to have it ready for summer. That's a lot of stitching. And that I'm realizing how much stitching is in this. It is actually 49 by 117 wide. So 117 wide is pretty big. I love the colors in it. It's just so bright. And I don't stitch a lot in bright colors, but I really want to. So there we go. So that is all the stitching for the month. I'm trying to slow down my talking. You might just have to slow down the video. I think I covered my whips. You saw my finishes, my start, my full finishes. So I am going to talk a little bit about plans. I don't normally do that. So Brenda the Serial Starter, they posted up, and I'm going to post a picture of the pattern here, and a lot of people are stitching it in several of my groups, and I hope I say the word right. I actually practiced it before I turned on the camera. Teletestai. I don't know. It means he is finished in Greek. And I am starting that actually today. It's going to become my Sunday stitch. I have some 36 count Edinburgh linen that I had in stash that I'm going to stitch it on. And I had some fancy flosses that I liked, but sometimes I worry about fancy flosses running or something. So I'm going to stitch it in my favorite red, and that is 321 DMC. So here's another little secret. I've stitched a lot on 32 count. I have a project going on 40 count. I haven't stitched a lot on it, but I have one. But I don't think I've ever stitched on 36 count before. So this will be a first for me, and that's kind of strange to say. Anyway, so I also want to talk a little bit about a pattern that I don't even remember where I saw it, but it's a pattern that I just could not buy. I'm going to insert it here. It's called Nana and it's called Paw and Nana. And it is Elizabeth Spurlock did the artwork. It is a Heaven and Earth Designs. It's huge. It's 600 by 600. I had to have this because cardinals are the theme. Both of my parents had passed away, and my mom was called Nana. So when I saw that, I'm like, I have to have it. One of the things I noticed is looking at the chart, which I've already uploaded onto Markup, which I am now using, y'all, is that there's not as much confetti stitching as in other patterns. I still think that because it's so big, and the fact that as Michelle McGraw says, I squirrel and get kind of sidetracked. Still think it's going to take me about 4 years to do, maybe. My goodness, I've been working on One Nation for 4 years. And it's not that much confetti, and it's very easy. But I am definitely going to put that in my rotation this month. As soon as I'm going to stitch it on 25 count over 1. That's also something I've never done, and that's tiny. So what I did was I had a gift card. Thank you, Lord, for gift cards. I had a gift card from 123 Stitch that my best friend gave me for Christmas, and I ordered just a normal size piece of 25 count Lugana, and I'm going to start another project. I have not picked the pattern yet, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do probably just a small sampler on 25 count Lugana. And then when that's finished, and I know that I'm real comfortable with it, I'm gonna order the larger fabric, which I think Steve is gonna consider my birthday present, since it's gonna be pricey to get a piece of fabric that's 600 by 600. So that is that plan. But yeah, that is just a gorgeous chart, and they were also just happen to be having a half off sale. So I am really trying to stitch from stash because I love everything in my collection, and gosh, it's huge. And my plans for 2024 all involve things that are already in my stash. Y'all saw my whip parade from last month. If you saw that, you know that there's a lot of stuff in that I could be stitching forever. I've bought some small patterns on Etsy that I'm possibly going to do. I have no immediate plans to start them, and I may show them later. But I've seen a few things that other people have stitched and I like, so I'll just go buy it and say I'll stitch it at some point. Also, I was also encouraged by Brenda and the Serial Starter. We were talking about doing things outside of the box. And, I want to stitch on higher count fabric. I like the way it looks. It's not that I'm wanting to jump on a bandwagon. When I see these projects on 40 and 56 count, those, I'm like, they really look good. So, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on something and then go, oh, I can't do it, or it's too hard. So I just went to Hobby Lobby. So if you're wanting to try to stitch, this is 46 count. That's how I started stitching on 40 count. I bought a piece from Hobby Lobby, and I'm still working on that project. And when that is over, I may decide that I may want to do more on 40 count, but I'm still in the middle of that, and I like it, but I have so many other projects right now. This is just, it's Ivory Bristol is from Swigert. It's a Swigert base, and it's 46 count. So I bought this, and I'm going to start probably a small sampler on that too this month, so you'll see it next month, because I'm trying to film once a month. I may film every other week, but right now I'm just trying to film once a month. So yeah, I'm going to try to do some of that too. Still want to try to work more on getting a lot of Christmas ornaments done ahead of time, like this little bitty one from Joann's. I painted the frame, by the way. The back of it doesn't look that great. That's why I'm probably going to put some ribbon or something to kind of, but nobody sees the back. So, but yeah, you could just put these in the frames here. But I look, that I do gingham everything. This is my tablecloth right now. This is, I don't know, I'm sitting at my dining room table. Let me see if I could show you. That's my tablecloth. So yeah, I do love my red gingham. All right, guys, I'm probably going to be starting dumping some charts that I've already finished next month. I just didn't get those together for this month and do some giveaways when I come back to you in April, which will probably be on April Fool's Day, unless I'm able, if I think that I have enough projects that I could do maybe a FlossTube in the middle of the month, I will do that. But right, that was about 11 projects and a few full finishes, so we will see. I would say I really, really, really appreciate, how many reallys did I get in there? Everybody who watches and supports us. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to all the support that we've had since Steve was diagnosed a long time ago. We just didn't make it public for a while. While we do great with it, it's just the thought of it. When you say that word Alzheimer's, it's scary. But he does great. And he has, if y'all remember from past videos, he has a great attitude about everything. He is pretty amazing. And I'm very lucky and blessed to be married to him. So I think that is it. Oh, one other thing. I've got to clean out my craft room. That is a project I'm wanting to have finished in the next couple of months. I have all kinds of finishing pieces. One thing I did in February was I organized all my whips, which I did that before I shot FlossTube last month. But my craft room needs some huge organization because I went looking for something for like 30 minutes this morning. I get up early. I did it before church. And oh my goodness, it was like insane trying to figure that out. So yeah, another project is cleaning up the craft room among all of the stitching of all the things that I want to do. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for FlossTube number 44. Got the number right this time. You guys have a great month if I don't see you again. Bye-bye.